Okay, so have you ever heard of a case where someone is convicted of murder, but there's no body?
It's not as uncommon as you might think, actually.
Really? Huh. Well, today we're diving into one of those cases, the Dee Warner case.
Yeah, this one is it's a wild one, full of twists and turns, and it really makes you wonder, what does it take to get justice when the victim just vanishes?
Right. So Dee Warner, she was a successful businesswoman from Michigan,
Yeah.
vanished without a trace, just gone.
And the really strange thing is, at first, everyone thought maybe, maybe she just took off.
Yeah, I read that she had some sort of disagreement with some employees the day before she disappeared. So maybe she was just upset and needed some space.
Exactly. But then the more you learn about the circumstances, the less that makes sense.
Totally. I mean, both her cars were at home, phone was left behind. It's not like her to just up and leave everything like that.
And from everything we know about Dee, she was a dedicated mom, wife, businesswoman, not the type to just disappear.
Absolutely. She ran 3 businesses with her husband, Dale, trucking company, farm business, and a chemical company.
She was a powerhouse, always on the go, always connected. So this sudden disappearance, it just didn't add up.
Okay, so enter Dee's brother, Greg Hardy. He was immediately like, nope, something's wrong. Organized a huge search party, 50 people, but nothing. No sign of her.
You see that a lot in these missing person cases. It's often the loved ones who are the most suspicious. Right from the start, they just know something's not right.
It's that gut feeling, right?
Exactly.
And Greg, his gut feeling was pointing right at Dale, Dee's husband.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't blame him, can you? I mean, think about it. Wife goes missing, no trace. Husband's right there.
It's definitely suspicious.
For sure. Now, Dale told the police that Dee had left before when she was upset, but Greg just wasn't buying it.
And their relationship,
Mm-hmm.
tense. Greg was convinced Dale was hiding something.
Yeah, but at that point, there was no evidence. No sign of a struggle, no indication of foul play.
Right. And Dale cooperated with the police, allowed them to search his properties.
And he kept insisting he had nothing to do with Dee's disappearance.
So 6 weeks go by, no Dee, and Greg decides to confront Dale directly. Basically accuses him right to his face of lying.
Whoa. So that must have been a pretty intense confrontation.
I can only imagine. And that confrontation really changed things. It shifted the focus, took things public. Greg was determined to get justice for his sister.
And it put a lot of pressure on the investigators, too. Suddenly, this wasn't just a quiet missing persons case anymore. It was front-page news.
Yeah. So Greg organizes a vigil for Dee, and in front of everyone, he accuses Dale of being involved in her disappearance. Bold move.
That's a game changer. Suddenly, public opinion is on Greg's side, and the police are under a microscope.
And remember, at this point, there's still no body, no crime scene, nothing concrete. So it's a really tough situation for everyone involved.
Absolutely. So how do you prove a crime when you don't even know for sure if a crime has been committed?
It's a puzzle, for sure. And that's where things take another turn. Dee's sister-in-law, Shelley Hardy, enters a picture. She was watching an episode of, get this, 48 Hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 Hours. They were featuring this attorney and investigator, Billy Little. He specialized in no-body murder cases.
Wow. Okay, so this guy, Billy Little, he must have some serious experience with cases just like Dee's.
Right. And Little emphasized, even without a body, you can still get a murder conviction. It's a lot harder.
So Shelley, she sees this and thinks, this is it. This is what we need.
Bingo. Shelley and Greg reach out to Little, hoping he can bring some fresh eyes, a new perspective to the investigation.
Smart move. Sometimes you need someone from the outside to shake things up, someone who isn't afraid to think outside the box.
Exactly. And that's exactly what Little did. He came in with a whole new set of strategies, new ways to look at the evidence, new ways to approach witnesses, even how to conduct more effective searches.
So he's like a nobody case guru, basically.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells Greg, we need to use the media. We need to keep this case in the public eye.
Ah, the court of public opinion. Powerful tool.
Absolutely. And then Little comes up with this bold and honestly kind of crazy idea, a billboard.
A billboard? What, like a missing person's billboard?
Not exactly. He wants a billboard with a message aimed directly at Dale. It's going to say, help Dale find Dee.
Whoa! Okay, so this isn't just about awareness. This is psychological warfare.
Right. It's placed right near Dale's trucking company. So every day, he's reminded that people are watching, people haven't forgotten about Dee.
That's intense. Can you imagine the pressure?
And you know what? It worked. The billboard created a ton of buzz, kept Dee's case in the spotlight, and turned up the heat on Dale. People were talking, demanding answers. They wanted the state police to take over the investigation.
Public pressure can be a powerful motivator, that's for sure.
And finally, after assisting the FBI with the investigation, the Michigan State Police take over the case in August of 2022.
So that's like, what, a year and a half after Dee disappears?
Yeah. Yep. And then in November of 2023, get this, Dale Warner is arrested and charged with Dee's murder.
Wait, so they arrested him without a body?
No body, no crime scene, no smoking gun. But they arrested him.
Wow. That's a huge development. What evidence could they possibly have to make that kind of move?
And how do you convince a jury to convict someone of murder when there's no body? It was a move that shocked everyone.
It's a total bombshell. And Dale's reaction?
Dale maintained his innocence, pleaded not guilty. His lawyer was confident they could clear his name. But it was going to be an uphill battle.
Absolutely. And then, in August of 2024, almost a year after Dale's arrest, the police make a discovery that throws everything into chaos. So they find something new a year after they arrest him. I mean, talk about a twist. You never see that coming.
It was a huge development. I mean, everyone thought, okay, Dale's arrested. This is it. Now we just wait for the trial. But then, boom, this new evidence emerges. It really threw a wrench into everything.
So what was it? What did they find? Don't leave us hanging.
All right, I'll tell you. But for the full story, you really should check out the 48 Hours episode on this case, the Nobody case of Dee Warner. They go into all the juicy details. They actually had the lead investigator on the case.
Oh, wow. So they really go in depth.
They do. But I can tell you this much. This new evidence, it wasn't just some small detail. It was a game changer. It made everyone rethink everything they thought they knew about the case.
So was it like, I don't know, a weapon or something belonging to Dee?
I can't say. Got to watch the episode. But what I will say is that it completely changed the direction of the case. It was a major turning point, even though it came so late in the game.
That's wild. Talk about a case that just keeps you guessing. And all this time, Dale is still maintaining his innocence.
Yep. Pleaded not guilty. His lawyer was standing by him, saying they'd prove his innocence in court. But with this new evidence, well, it definitely complicated things.
No kidding. So the trial date is set for when?
September 2, 2025.
Wow, so that's coming up. Think about all the time that's passed since Dee disappeared. Almost 4 years.
It's been a long road, that's for sure. Full of twists and turns, dead ends, and now this bombshell discovery right before the trial.
And we're about to see it all come to a head in the courtroom. Prosecution versus defense. The battle for truth and justice.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. Will this new evidence be enough to secure a conviction? Or will Dale walk free?
And even if he is convicted, will we ever truly know what happened to Dee? Will her family ever get the closure they deserve?
Those are the big questions, and unfortunately we don't have the answers yet. But this case, it really highlights how complex these nobody murder cases can be.
They're like a puzzle with a missing piece. You can try to put it together, but without that crucial piece, you never get the full picture.
And in Dee's case, that missing piece is her. Her absence is the driving force behind everything. It's what keeps the investigation going, it's what fuels her family's determination, and it's what keeps us all captivated by this story.
It's a reminder that even when someone is gone, their impact, their story, it lives on. And in Dee's case, her story is far from over. The trial is just the next chapter.
So as we head into the final part of our deep dive, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this case? What do you think happened to Dee Warner? Head over to our website, leave a comment, send us an email. We'd love to hear your theories and predictions for the trial.
And don't forget to check out that 48 Hours episode, The Nobody Case of Dee Warner, to get all the details, including that bombshell discovery. Trust us, it's a real eye-opener. It really gets you thinking, doesn't it? Like how much we rely on that physical evidence, the body, the crime scene. And when those are missing, well, it's a whole different ballgame.
Totally. It's like, how do you even begin to piece together what happened?
It takes a different kind of approach, that's for sure. It's more about connecting the dots, building a narrative, finding those subtle inconsistencies.
And the emotional toll on the families in these cases, it's got to be immense. Just imagine not knowing what happened to your loved one, if they're alive, if they're...
Yeah, the not knowing is the hardest part. And in Dee's case, her brother Greg, he just wouldn't let it go. He was relentless.
Yeah, he's like a dog with a bone. He kept pushing, kept the pressure on, and ultimately, I think that made a huge difference.
Absolutely. Public pressure can be a game changer in these cases. It keeps the spotlight on, forces investigators to keep digging.
So we've talked about the evidence, the investigation, the upcoming trial, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to one question. What happened to Dee Warner?
Right. And that's the question we may never have a definitive answer to. But we can speculate, we can analyze, we can try to make sense of the pieces we do have.
We've laid out the facts, the timeline, the key players. We've talked about the conflicting perspectives, the unanswered questions. Now it's your turn. What are your thoughts? What are your theories?
Head over to our website, leave a comment, send us an email. Let's keep this conversation going.
And before you do that, make sure you check out that 48 Hours episode, The No Body Case of Dee Warner. They go into a lot more detail than we could here, including that crucial piece of evidence discovered in 2024.
It's a real eye-opener, trust me.
Dee Warner's case is a powerful reminder that even when a body is never found, the search for truth and justice never truly ends. It's a testament to the strength of family, the dedication of investigators, and the power of public pressure to hold those responsible accountable.
And it reminds us that even in the darkest of mysteries, there's always hope that the truth will eventually surface. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another captivating case.